Good morning, my yogis. Welcome back. So this morning we're going to do a yoga sequence that is great for the whole family. So if you are at home in lockdown and you've got the kids around you, your partner with you, bring them on down to the floor as well and we'll get working. We're going to do a bit of balance, which is great for kids, they love it. And we'll get started now. So just making sure that you have got a block. If you don't have a block, a heavy book is really good. So grab a book. If you've got any injuries, I've got a sore knee at the moment, so I've got extra padding at hand. So just make sure if you need anything, maybe a blanket to lean on, then grab that as well. So we're going to start in open cross-legged. Just doing our warm-ups. So getting nice and comfortable first. Open cross-legged means that your feet only are overlapped. So we don't want to take them that far over that our knees can't drop down because our feet are in the way. So bringing the feet, so just the feet up, overlapping, feet are kind of straight in front of your pelvis. Taking our hands out, resting our arms on our knees, sitting up nice and tall, lift the chest. So take a moment to slow down first. So lovely big breaths in. And relax on the exhale. So we're just going to try and slow the breathing down and get our inhales and our exhales even first. So breathing in, exhaling out. Breathing in and out. One more time. And out. On the next inhale, we're taking hands up, so inhaling and palms together. Exhale, keeping the palms together, drop the hands behind the head. Inhale, coming back on up. And exhale, down to halfway mark. From here we're going to inhale. And we're continuing around to reverse prayer. I'm just going to spin around just to demo what reverse prayer is for those of you who haven't done it before. So bringing the hands together behind your fingertips touching. We're going to try and push our palms together. Roll the shoulders back and open. This is a good chest opener. And then raising the hands up and down. So that mobility is for those who are got great flex in their shoulders. If you haven't, you might have problems with the wrists, then you'll not get to this straight away. This will take quite a bit of time. Exhale back to sideways, halfway. We're taking one hand up, one hand down. Bend at the elbows. Trying to touch fingers. If you can touch fingers, hold hands. So big shoulder rotation. And swap sides. One hand up, one hand down. Touch the fingers. We'll creep the hands all the way down. And release back to our halfway mark. Coming into a side stretch, so we're just putting the hand down, stretching up and over. And we're trying to look up and under our arm. So none of this. Roll that shoulder open and back, look up to the ceiling. Inhale up and swap sides, up and over. Inhale up. I'm just going to spin back around. We're going to take it over to the other side again. Inhale and up and over. So you see I'm opening across the chest. Inhale back on up. And swapping over again. And back. Right, we're stretching hands out front. We're just working into all the joints. Warming up fingers, And now into the wrists, to roll them in one direction, and then back in the other direction. Coming into a figure eight, so a nice little eight. So your eights can be lying down like this, or they can be standing up, whichever you prefer. Good one for kids, this one. Now we're going to reverse that figure eight. So stop and think about it and do it back the other way. Yoga for the brain. Right. You're going to bring fingertips into shoulders, so warming into elbows. And then let your fingers in, shoulders and elbows are meeting the middle, big circles. So warming into our shoulders, rotate a cuff. Inhale as we go up, exhale as we go down. And the elbows meet this time in the middle, oh, nice bright sun. Reverse it back the other way. We've had lovely weather, which is great. Last one. And let the arms go. We are now stretching legs out in front. So sitting up nice and tall first, a little bit of width between the feet, and we're working through the toes. You're rolling through the ankles. Right, taking it back the other way. So we're still in warm-ups. From the arms onto the legs. Right, we're bringing our knee into our chest and pushing out. In, out, in, out. Right, leaving the leg out this time and doing circles. Warming into our hips. So you can use your arms if you need to help that leg around. Or if you've got a nice strong core, you can do it without hands. Right, reverse it back the other way. Make those circles huge. And we're swapping sides. So knee into the chest and pushing out. In, out, in, out. This time leaving the leg out and big circles. Reverse it back the other way. Last one. Alright, taking legs out wide, so this is a straddle sit. So when we forward fold, we need to remember to not bend at the waist. What we're trying to do is hinge at the hips. So think about hip movement before you start, big breath in. And we're trying to come forward, so flat back, opening chest, inhale. And exhale down to the floor. So just taking a couple of breaths here. Walk the hands back on in. So we're getting ready to do another one. So hopefully we can get a little bit deeper, or it might just feel a little bit easier. Take that big breath in. So we're going to roll from the hips. Come down as far as you can. Once you can't go any further, we're going to take our hands out to our feet. Couple of breaths here. Coming back on up to seated. Right, fingers to the floor. We are into leg extensions. And then release. Big breath in. Roll forward from the hips. Flat back. Chest forward, hands to the feet. Sitting back on up, fingers to the floor, and extension. Bringing the soles of the feet together. Coming into our butterfly. So butterfly, pretty obvious. We're flapping our butterfly wings. So we're still working through the hips. Coming back to the forward fold, so using the same principle, rotating through the hip, not bending from the waist, but breath in. And forward fold. Alright, elbows are outside of the legs, we're trying to get elbows to the floor. Alright, gently sitting back on up, coming back into butterfly. Alright, taking a big breath in. Forward folding again, hinging from the hips, elbows to the floor. Sitting back on up and coming up onto your tailbone. So you're holding the feet either at the instep, or if you prefer, 2 fingers around the big toes. I've had socks on because it's been a bit chilly first thing in the morning. So we'll take them off for now. So either at the feet, 2 fingers around the big toe. Those are your 2 choices. Keeping both feet off the floor. So this is a balance. You're going to take right leg up. Bringing the right leg back in. Swapping sides. Leg is coming in. So now we're going to take both feet out. Wonderful. Bringing those feet in. Now we're extending the left leg out, right leg is staying bent. Interlock your fingers, popping them under the ball of the foot. And we're extending our legs straight forward. That leg a little tweak, we're going to pull it so that our knee is coming towards our nose, so just lifting and pull. Lovely big stretch for the hamstring and releasing. So we're wanting the sole of the foot to come to the inner of your left leg. Think about relaxing through this knee and this hip. Now we're going to take the right hand behind the right knee, left hand out to your left toes, coming up on our knees, swinging around, lifting the arm up into a back arch. And dropping back down. Let that leg go. Swapping sides. So the left leg is in, the fingers are interlocked under the ball of that foot, and we are pushing straight on up. Giving that left leg that tweak forward, so we're bringing the knee to the nose. And letting that foot go, we're bringing the left foot to the inner thigh on the right leg. Taking the hand behind the left knee, right hand out to the right toes, draw that half circle, we're swinging around and lifting up on our knee into a back arch. Dropping back down, let that leg go, coming into a forward fold, just a big breath in. And then reaching forward as far as you can. Remember, still hinging from the hips. So reaching forward, see if we can get to shins or ankles or toes. Once we're there, dropping the head. Couple of breaths. And release. Alright, so we're going to come down to the floor lying down now. We are giving our core a bit of a workout. So you will need your block, or if you haven't got a block, you'll need your book. Bring it with you. So lying down, get nice and comfy. Making sure your clothes are stretched out so there's nothing bumping in under your back. Grab your block and we will get started. So the first thing we're doing is getting our knee alignment, so feet in really close to the bottom. That's what we're trying to get to, and that's placing our knees straight over our hips, and then we're taking our legs straight on up. We're putting the block between the legs and squeezing the block. So the moment you squeeze your block, your core is engaged, and if you're new to this, this might be where you end up just hanging out up here like this. For the rest of us, big breath in, and we exhale and lower. Inhale, raise up, and lower. Inhale and up. So you notice that each time I lower, my feet do not touch the ground. We're keeping the core engaged. And the plan is to synchronize the breathing with the movement. So every time we take a big breath in, we exhale down, we inhale up. So synchronizing the movement with the breath and the breath with the movement, so just keeping them related. And the idea of the block is to keep both legs working evenly, because we both need to apply pressure with both legs. We have that tendency normally, if we're left-handed or right-handed, to favour one side, so one leg will do more work than the other. So this way, both legs have to work together. One more. Inhale and up. Taking that block away, pop the knees into the chest, and just do a little rock over that lower spine. And bringing the feet back to the floor. So we are now doing our second core exercise. We're going to have those fingers interlocked again. This time we're bringing our hands in behind our head. Elbows are resting on the floor. Same starting position for the legs, so we're wanting the feet in nice and close to the bottom. That pops our hips back over the top of our knees. And then we're taking the legs straight on up. So we're going to drop the right leg out straight, the left one bent, and opposite elbow to knee. Inhale up. Exhale, swap sides. Inhale up. And exhale down. You just had a star appearance from Twiggy the cat. So every time we come back to centre, we are taking our arms back out wide. We don't want to keep them up around our ears, we want them back to the front. Alright, last one. Inhaling up, bringing the knees back to chest. Pop your hands on your knees this time. We're going to draw little circles. Just do a couple of circles in one direction. And take them back the other direction. And getting ready to do that last one. So grab that block back. This time, still starting with that same position, so getting the feet in close, popping the legs straight on up, This time, still doing the right leg straight, left one bent, but we use our block between our leg, and then we scissor and pass the block back through. And scissor. So block, hook, whatever's working for you. So level 1, head on the floor. Level 2, chin to chest, shoulders off the floor. And we do this slow motion, so it's like, think of the $6 Million Man or the Bionic Woman. Everything's done in slow motion. It makes our core work a bit harder. So basically going fast is just cheating. If you want to do a level 3, come up onto the tailbone. Right, we're putting that block aside. Feet are coming to the floor. Soles of the feet can come together, let the knees drop out wide, arms coming up overhead. We're going to have a rest in our figure 8 pose. Right, so figure 8 pose is one of the many resting poses we have in yoga. So we just let the knees drop out to the side, soles of the feet together. And then take your attention back into the breathing, slowing it back down. So doing core work, it might have got a bit rapid. So just take a moment to take some big, long, relaxing, lengthy breaths. And slow it back down. Right, releasing the arms, cross the feet over, you can grab a foot in each hand, and from here we're going to rock up to seated. Let's take the feet back and popping up. So now we're going to come into boat pose. So the boat pose is still working on that core area. Let's give it a last final blast, and then we're going to be coming around to hands and knees. So, boat pose, if you're a beginner, you can hang out here at beginners. So hands hooked under the backs of the knees, but feet staying off the floor, and this is a bit about balance as well as core strength. Next level, hands out in line with the legs, 2, and then up to level 3, so arms in line with ears, straighten the legs, really engaging the core. So picking what level you want to work at, we're going to do a hold for 10 and just gauge where you're at. If you struggle with that, when we do our hold for 20, you'll need to come back down a level. If you find it easy, you can go up a level. So taking a big breath in, holding for a count of 10, off we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big breath in and exhale, forward fold. See where you can reach. You might be still shins and ankles, you might be getting a bit further now down to toes. A couple of breaths here. And release. Right, so gauging where you are at, picking what level you want to go to for a hold of 20. Big breath in, and off we go. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big breath in and exhale, forward fold. Alright, and we're around to hands and knees. Alright, so you may have warmed up by now. If you have, you want to peel a layer off. Now is a good time to do it before we get started onto our arm strength. So we did cover arms and arm strength the other day with my first video. So we're going to just do a series of work on that. So I am going to do it side on, just so that you can get that side profile and see the use of my arms. So coming round onto hands and knees. So this is tabletop position. And from here we're just going to do a few cat-cows first. So tummy dropping down, big breath in, looking up is cow. Arching back, chin to chest, squeeze all the air out is cat. So swap between the two. And exhale out, cat. Now if you have trouble remembering this, always think of Halloween cats. When you look at a Halloween cat, it has its back arched, it's frightened Halloween cat. So just think of Halloween and you'll always get the position right. Cat. Cow. Alright, back to frightened Halloween cat. Right, so just working on our arm strength. So if you're a newbie, stay on your knees, but very important is to get the arms correct. So we rotate our elbows to the centre. I'll just do a quick demo this way first. So rotate your elbows to the centre. Everybody can do this naturally, but a lot of people don't realise that they have this ability. When we come forward, we are bringing our elbows back to our ribs. So this is a yoga press up. It is not your normal press up that you see flying out to the side. Elbows are in, grazing the ribs. Elbows rotate to the centre and up and down. So I'm going to carry on doing it sideways, just so you can see that profile. So elbows are around and we're coming down in a press up. 1. Elbows squeezing in, they're actually touching my ribs. That's how close in they are. Push up. 2. And 3. And 4. Pull back into child's pose. Have a rest. The head to the mat. Reach the arms out. And giving the arms a rest just for a moment. A couple of breaths here. Right, back on up. Carrying on with that arm strength. So if you are not a beginner and you feel like you've got good arm strength, then you can change it from being on your knees into the plank version. So elbows are still rotating around and we are coming down and pressing up. Now when you first start, you may find that you can only do a half. I'm coming back to knees. Half. And over time you'll get lower. So just work with your ability, work down as far as you can. Right, so everyone doing 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pulling back into child's pose. Alright, back on up, hands and knees. So now we're going to carry on doing some drills that actually help you get that arm strength. So remembering, always rotate those centre of elbows around first. What we are doing is we are coming down first, then we don't come up, we just pull back. So elbows drop to the floor, drag the chest back along the ground, up and around. So you're actually drawing a circle with your body. Down, back and around. Up and around. Back, over to starting point. Down, back and around, and up. And down, back, and up. So once you've done 4 of those, come back into your child's pose. Back, down. Catch a breather here for a moment.
And now we're going to do the second half. So the second half is the reverse of what we've just done. So we're in the perfect position already. We're in child's pose and our elbows are on the floor. So from here, we're just going to drag the chest forward this time. Our elbows will pop up. Then we push up, back and around. Drag the chest along the floor. Pushing up, back and around. And notice my elbows are still in really close, squeezing on the body. So dragging forward, elbows are up and around. One more. So if you're really wanting to work on arm strength, I'm doing those 2 sets of 4 press-ups each day and doing these arm strength drills. If you did them every day, you'd have really good strength in a few weeks. It doesn't take long. Sometimes it's just using new muscles that you're not used to using. Right, from here, we're coming into balance. So balance will help involve core as well. So you will notice that as your core gets stronger, your balance will get better. So starting back in that tabletop pose, and we are taking our right leg back and our left arm out. So this is where your balance is. Elbow and knee meet in the middle. Pushing out. Elbow and knee meet. Pushing out. Elbow and knee meet. Pushing out. This time we're going to reach up and around with that hand and find that foot. Hold. Right, reaching back on out. Elbow and knee meet. Pushing out. Reaching up and around, find that foot. Reaching back out. Elbow and knee meet. Pushing out. Last one, reach up and around, find that foot. Stretching back on out. Hand comes down, knee comes down, we are swapping sides. So, left leg back, right arm out. Elbow and knee meet. Pushing back out. Elbow and knee meet. Pushing out. Elbow and knee meet. Pushing back out. Reach around. Find that foot. Reaching back on out. Elbow and knee meet. Push out. Reach around. Find that foot. Reaching back out. Elbow and knee meet. And pushing out. Last one, reach around, find that foot. And reaching back on out. Hand comes down, knee comes down. And pull back, child's pose. Have a little breather here for a moment. And back up, back onto hands and knees. So the next one we're doing is an advance on what we have just done. So if you were struggling with opposite hand, opposite leg, then just repeat that. And the rest of you that want to come with me and give this a go, we're going to do same hand to same leg. So first you're going to take that left leg back. Once you've got your balance, you're feeling comfortable, you're going to add in the left hand. Slowly, so focus. Hear people talking about yoga focus, this is it, reaching up. Slow and controlled, find that foot. Coming back out. Reaching up again, around, find that foot.
reaching back on out. And one more, reaching up, find that foot. And reaching out. Hand comes down, knee comes down. Getting ready now to swap sides. So this time, right leg goes back. Always take the leg back first, then add the arm. And slowly reaching up and around. Find the foot. Stretching back on out. Reaching up and around. And last one. And reaching around. Hand comes down, knee comes down. Well done. We are pulling back. Child's pose, one last rest here. And we are back on up, hands and knees. Tabletop position again, tucking toes under, hips are coming up. This is your first downward facing dog for the day. So remember that shape we're trying to get. We want our hips up high, chest, it's like we're trying to pull it back towards the knees. It's my best way of describing it. Then we're lowering our heels. Move forward a fraction in case I'm sneaking out of the camera. Right, from here we're going to come forward into plank. Now when we come into plank, thinking of belly button pulling back to the spine. Nice flat line. No saggy banana, that's saggy banana, and we're trying to not have our bum still sticking in there, so straight line. Right, lifting back into downward dog. Then lower the heels to the mat. Coming forward and into your plank. Belly button, zip back to the spine. Straight line, shoulders should be over the wrists. And lifting hips back on up. Downward dog. Now we're going to come back forward into plank. Those of you who want to have a bit more of a challenge, we are going to take one leg just off the floor. So left leg just up, right leg for me, sorry. And we are coming forward, plank. And coming back, foot down, downward dog. Lower the heels. So you have the choice of just staying in normal downward dog to plank. Then you have the choice of making it harder and lifting up that foot. And then come back forward again, swapping feet if you're doing the three-legged plank. Foot just off the ground, come forward. Foot back down, lift the hips up high, downward dog, lower the heels. Okay, one more on each side. Coming forward into plank, lift that foot off. Lower the foot down, hips up high. And coming back forward again, swapping feet. Foot back down, hips back on up, downward dog. And now we're just going to walk the feet all the way up to
front of the mat. Inhaling, bringing your arms out wide, coming up to standing. And hands into heart space. Right, so we're going to come into a warrior flow now. And as we progress through it, everyone is going to be at different levels. So basically, you just go as far as you can. As you get further and further into it, you might find that that's your limit, and that's where you end up stopping. Quite normal. Some of the stuff starts off as a very basic movement, and as we work along, people getting more advanced. Some people have been coming for years, and some people are just starting out. Often people starting out, if they've got the flexibility, can actually get into the advanced poses. So just take it as far as you can, and then from there it only takes a moment for us to get to the finish, and then you can join back in. So we're starting with a warrior flow, starting in our warrior one. So warrior one, we're taking right foot, stepping back, nice deep line, and bending into the knee. So I'll turn sideways, you can see the depth in it. Right, arms back up in line with ears, dropping into that knee, so we're wanting 90 degrees in our knee. So this is your warrior one. We're going to push up with that back foot. We're coming into warrior three, which is balance. So I will disappear slightly out of the camera, but what we're trying to do is just tip forward, arms stay in line with ears, nice straight line along the body. And then we are stepping back. Back foot is turning out now, and we are into warrior two. Back into 90 degrees over that knee. Back foot is turned out. And we're going to add a bit of flow in. So we inhale and flow up. And exhale. Elbow to knee, back arm is coming up and over. Inhaling and flowing up. Exhale, elbow to knee. And inhale and up. Exhale, elbow to knee. Coming back up, arms are stretched out. 90 degrees back into that knee. Shoulder blades, roll them down the spine. Now we're going to straighten that front leg. The next move is just moving the ribs only, so we're trying to isolate the ribs. And my best way of describing it is that someone is pulling your middle finger. So imagine someone's pulling your middle finger and you just pop your ribs forward and ribs back. So 1, 2, and 3. Coming back into that deep bend in the knee. This hand, the front hand, is coming down by your foot. And everything's snuggling in nice and close. So I've got my knee and my shoulder tucked in. My right arm's extended up. I'm going to drop that right hand behind you. So you're probably wondering why I've got my back to you. This is just so you get a good vision on what we're up to behind the scene. My left hand, that's on the floor by my foot, is reaching through, and we're going to try and hold hands. So this is a bound pose. And this is where a lot of you will start to struggle. Some of you may be great at it, some of you are new to yoga might not be able to touch hands. And this is going to be your limit for today. Right, the back foot is going to step up to the front. And we're going to put the weight now onto that back foot and try and come up, so into balance. Now if you're still wrapped and bound up, you can take that left leg up. And here we go. So you can understand how it comes to different levels, and not everyone will get to the very end. It's work in progress, and we keep working away at this one all the time. So we get new people who can suddenly do it in class, which is amazing because the smiles are incredible. So we're going to do the same pose again, the same flow. I'll do a straight on version this time so you can see. So this time we are swapping legs, so make sure you're stepping back with the opposite foot. So this time stepping back with the left, nice big step back. Remember, we want that space in here. If you have trouble with balance, you can wiggle the feet out a bit wider and give yourself that wide base. So Eva is fine, dropping into that front knee. Warrior one, arms in line with ears, looking up. Remembering warriors, they're strong, so make your pose look strong. Getting ready to come into our warrior three, which is the balance one. So we're going to push off with that back foot. Trying to keep our arms in line with our ears. Balance onto the right leg and then slowly tipping forward. Strong ankles. Stepping back now, that back foot's turned out. Arms are coming out wide. And we're dropping back into that front knee. So while we're here, just thinking of alignment, this knee should be over our ankles. If it started to roll in, just glide it back over and try and keep it there. Looking out to that centre finger. And we're getting ready to put some flow in, so we're inhaling up. And then exhaling forward, elbow comes to knee. The back arm is coming up and over. Inhaling up. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Now taking that top arm back. Stretching the front arm out, and we're going to straighten that front leg. Remember, we're isolating ribs, so it's like someone's pulling our middle finger. Moving forward and back. Forward and back. And forward and back. Back to 90 degrees in your front knee. Right arm is dropping down. So it's all snuggled in nice and close, okay? Left arm is going to come behind you. The right hand that's on the floor is reaching through, and if you can, hold hands. Great, you're doing incredibly well. Those of you who've managed and want to try stepping to the front of the mat, left foot stepping up. You're going to put your weight onto that left foot, coming on up. And then if you've still got your balance, you're still wrapped and bound, take that right leg up. More times, we're on camera. And up. And let go. Well done. So this is why it was great yoga class to bring kids into it, because they love doing this kind of yoga. So we're going to come into a little bit of balance now, a bit more balance. Adding in our tree pose, which is a good classic, good favourite. Weight onto your right leg. Left leg is going to pick what level you're working at. So if you're a beginner, big toe stays on the floor. A little bit like having a bike stand. Upper level, your foot goes to your calf, never to your knee. So it's either calf or all the way up here to top level, which is your inner thigh. Hands coming into heart space. Right from here we're inhaling and up. Exhale, open out wide. Now we often put some flow in our class, so we just add a bit of flow. Our trees blowing in the wind. Back to centre, blow the other way. Great for balance.
We're still going with that balance. We're going to try our reverse prayer. So hands coming behind the back. So what we did at the beginning of class, fingertips touch. Pushing palms together, roll the shoulders back and open. Great chest opener. Alright, inhaling back on up. Hands coming back to heart space. Let that leg go. Right, one more. We're going to take our right leg, pick the level we're working at. So toe on the floor, or to the calf, or all the way on up. Hands into heart space, nice tall lengthy posture. Got your balance, we're inhaling, arms are coming up. Exhaling, taking arms out wide. And if you have still got your balance, you're going to pop some flow in. Flow from one side, back to our centre, flow to the other. Back to our centre. Hands into reverse prep. Shoulders rolling back. Opening back up and around. Hands back to heart space. And let that leg go. Well done. Right, from here we're going to take our feet out wide, so we're coming into a squat. Right, nice big breath in. Exhale, elbows and knees meet. This is just our halfway mark. Good place to check in if you are struggling with squat. Then you can use a block to sit on. So you can use a block in this situation for sitting. Otherwise, if you are still way up here, you might be better off coming down into a frog pose, or just slightly changing it from what the rest of the class are doing. Inhaling up and exhale. Elbows and knees meet. Wriggling on down a bit lower. Wriggle into it. There's nothing wrong with wriggling into it. Easing all the joints and things, softening them out. Ligaments. Right from here, just taking hands only up. So inhale and exhale. Elbows and knee meet. Push them open. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. And exhale. From here we're inhaling, pushing on up to standing. Let the hands go. Crossing feet over. And coming on down to seated, so we're letting the knees go forward. Try and sit without using hands, but we don't want any catastrophe, so if you need to use your hands to get down, then definitely put them out. Right, so from here, I'm going to take our left leg forward. I'm going to take our right leg and cross it over the top. Make sure your block is close by, so if you've managed to toss it a bit further away, it might be a good idea to retrieve it right now. Now in this pose, we're trying to get it so our knees are stacked, one on top of the other, so we're just trying to get them over a little bit further. From here, back to that forward fold system, so inhale in, exhale, down towards the toes or the ankles. And then drop the head. Right, inhaling and back up. We're going going to take this right leg that's crossed over, wrapping it around and in beside us. Quad stretch. It's a really big deep stretch in your quad, and it's not always for everyone, so just measure where you're at and that it's working for you. First we're going to take a big breath in. We're going to head forward to the toes. So it might only be shins, it might be ankles, it might be toes, just see where you're at. Everybody's body is different, and variations from side to side as well. So remembering what you can do on one side of your body cannot necessarily do on the other. Right, inhaling back up. This time we're heading backwards, so we're taking our hands back. So either back to hands, I'll just walk around sideways so you can see a better view. So back to either hands or to elbows, right, or lying all the way down. Now if you're lying down, you don't want this knee bouncing up. This knee needs to be down at the floor level still. Very deep stretch in the quad. And this stretch is not necessarily for everyone. So if you are on elbows and you feel like you want to go deeper, if you lie down and the knee bounces up, you're just not quite ready to go down that far. If you're on hands and you want to go deeper but it's too far onto elbows, then you can bring your block in. And that's your little halfway point between being on hands and being on elbows. Pushing back on up to seated now. Come back around. So now we're going to let that leg go. And just bring that inner foot to that inner thigh again. Come back into this knee. Big breath in. And forward fold. Walking hands back on in. Let this leg go. Swapping sides, so this one is now going to come in and cross over. Right, so remembering we're trying to get those knees stacked one on top of the other as best as we can. Once we're in position, let's big breath in. And we are forward folding. See where we can reach. And inhaling up, exhale down. Right, we're now taking this leg here and bringing it in and around beside us. Right, so I will turn again so you guys have a better view. Right, from here back to hands or to elbows, or lying all the way down. From here, coming back on up. Let that leg go. And bring the sole of the foot to that inner thigh. Relaxing through that knee, relaxing through that hip. Breathing in and down to the toes. So remember, we're still hinging from the hips. We're always hinging from the hips. We're never bending from the waist. Lie the tummy down, the chest down, follow the hips.
Right, inhaling and exhale down. And we're going to let that leg go. So scooting down to lying down. Right, bringing the knees into the chest. Nice little rock across the lower spine. We're going to come into a spinal twist. So we inhale our hands up, exhale them out wide down to the floor, and then we're going to roll over to the left. When we roll to the left, we always look to the right. Now if you want to, you can extend that top right leg out. That's going to give you more stretch, and we're stretching back down this outside area of the legs into the IT band. And then we're rolling back to our centre. And we're going to swap sides, so we're now dropping to the right, looking to the left, with the option of extending this leg out. So remember, this is optional. If you don't want to do this, just stay curled in. And we are rolling back to our centre. We're going to take both legs straight on up. Take the right leg, just draw little circles. We're going to slowly lower it to the floor. Oh, I feel like I'm sunbathing, the sun's out. Once the right foot's on the floor, do the same with the left. Bringing the arms down and alongside the body. And you're now in your corpse pose, ready for Shavasana. The first thing you're going to do is just take your focus into your breathing pattern. So nice big breath in. Exhale out. And relax on the exhale. So carry on with that breathing. Breathing in for a count of 3. And exhale for a count of 3. And each time you exhale, I just want you to melt down and soften down into that mat a little bit deeper. And then just turn your mind to feelings and sensations. So you're just looking for all the different feelings and sensations that you can feel around your body from having done your yoga class. So you might be able to feel your core a little bit more than normal. You might feel like you're taking really lovely, big, deep breaths. You might have tingling in your arms, your shoulders. So we're just looking for any of those feelings. Blood buzzing around the body. Feeling great inside. exhale just to soften, melt down slightly deeper. Let the body feel really heavy and relaxed. Now, if you are enjoying this little moment of rest in your Shavasana, I'm happy to leave you here on the mat to enjoy it a little bit longer. The rest of you that want to wake up, bring the wriggling into fingers, wriggling into toes, opening eyes. Big stretch through the legs, push the backs of the knees into the mat. And curling knees on into chest, curling up into a nice tight wall. Let's take a couple of rocks from side to side. And then finally, curling up nice and tight, try and get your nose to your knees. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And relax. And coming over onto your side or rocking on up to seated. Lovely, big breath in. Namaste, everyone. Hope you enjoyed your yoga. Hope you can get your family to join in with you.